I remember this one time I was sitting in my room and I was watching something that I shouldn't be watching. I was doing something that I shouldn't be doing. I was watching self-improvement videos, learning how to stop procrastinating while actively procrastinating. I knew I should have been doing something else, but I was just sitting there watching this video and learning how to stop procrastinating. But 30 minutes later, I'm sweaty, I'm grunting, my muscles ache, I'm working out. And if you don't know me, my name is Matthew and I try to help guys just like you improve their lives through my lessons and my life experiences. There's this common thing among the self-improvement space where some people are telling you to just take action, that you need to be taking action on what you already know. But there's also this other side that are telling you that you need to learn how to actually take the action. And a simple framework you can use to not overcomplicate yourself and just kind of take action simply is you need to learn when you don't know how to do something. When you don't know how to do, for example, the business model, when you don't know how to meditate, when you don't know how to do X, Y, Z, then you learn how to do it. But then when you know how to do it and you want to do it, then you should do it. You shouldn't watch more videos on how to do the same action that you already know how to do, because that's just mental masturbation. It feels productive to learn more about your business, about meditation, about health, about the gym, about all these things. But if you don't take action, then it's just useless. Imagine this, you have these two new guys who both want to start a gym. One of them hears the message of just take action, just take action. So he does that. He signs up to the gym, he's excited, he goes to the gym, and he just takes action. Doesn't watch any YouTube videos, he just takes action. And he goes to the squat machine, and he ends up doing terrible form, and he injures himself. Now imagine the second guy. He signs up to the gym, and before he's about to go into the squat rack, into the machines, he watches one video on the perfect form and how to do it. And he does that every single day, and he gets better than the person who injured himself. So you obviously need a balance, because there's also the extreme end where you just don't even go to the gym because, let's say you have these two guys and you have a third guy who's overthinking everything, who's overthinking his workout routine, he's overthinking his perfect muscle synthesis, protein diet, everything. And he just doesn't end up going to the gym. Which one of these three guys is going to make the most progress? The guy who's overthinking, the guy who just takes action and watches one video, or the guy who just takes action? Obviously the guy in the middle. You need a sort of balance. And that's exactly the perfect guy in the middle. He knows what he needs to be doing. He needs to actually be going to the gym and doing the exercises, but he also is learning how to actually become good at doing the exercises. And when he gets back home, he watches one video on how to improve his diet by 1%. And he does that every single day. And he's going to end up all the way up here. The guy who overthinks everything never makes progress. The guy who just takes action barely makes any progress. And I'm not trying to hate on learning. Learning is probably one of the most powerful things you can do in the modern day, because when you're watching a podcast, even though you kind of podcasts get criticized and they get evilized, like if you're watching an Andrew Tate podcast, you're just procrastinating. And fair enough, if you are, then you probably shouldn't be watching the Andrew Tate podcast. But when you're watching these podcasts, you're brainwashing yourself with this successful man's beliefs. Just think about that. You're literally brainwashing yourself, changing your own beliefs with a successful man's beliefs. That's still valuable. But when you are procrastinating on doing something while you're watching one of these podcasts, then that's completely different. When you know you should be doing an action, when you know you should be doing your business, whether it's making a video, sending the outreaches, doing the dropshipping website, whatever, I can't think of any other business models. When you know what to do, watching these podcasts is going to be useless when you're not even taking action. Because we humans learn way more by taking action than just kind of passively learning, by watching a YouTube video, by just watching a lecture. You need to actively learn, because when you're actively learning, you make mistakes. As a human, we're obviously going to make mistakes. When you first begin something, you're not going to be perfect at it. So you're going to make mistakes, and obviously your brain is going to immediately try to fix them. Whenever you throw a dart and it completely misses the board, your brain is going to be thinking, okay, if it completely missed the board, then maybe I threw it a little bit too up, a little bit too down, a little bit too left or right. So I'm going to hit it more in the middle this time. And then the second time you pick up the dart, you throw it again, and now it's actually on the board. So your brain actively trying to fix your mistakes. And the benefit of actively learning and actually doing the action that you need to do is that you hold more of the information. Because you can learn everything about businesses, about mentalities, about mindsets. But if you don't actively take action on them, if you don't actively kind of do them and practice them, then what is going to happen is your brain is just going to forget about them, because our brains try to just get rid of things we don't use. So if you immediately learn something and you use it, you kind of have a life experience in your brain. and it will be more likely to remember it. And when you're actually doing something, you actually have to do some critical thinking. You're not just sitting there watching another lecture, another video. Because imagine this, you have this new guy and he's trying to learn how to swim. He'll be way more likely to learn how to swim if he watches a few videos on how to do swimming, maybe even just one, on how to swim, the perfect form to swim, how to float in water. He gets into the water and he actually practices swimming. Compared to the guy who's just kind of watching 100 videos on how to do swimming and he never gets into the water. He's just passively learning. He's passively learning, just watching these videos and not taking any action. While the other guy watches a video, he's technically passively learning, but then when he gets into the water, now it's actively learning. He's actually learning by doing the action, and now his brain's actually working, fixing his mistakes, and he's gonna make way more progress than the guy who's just sitting here learning, and this is the guy who's actually gone into the water. So put simply, learn when you don't know how to do the action, when you don't know how to start a business, when you don't know how to do the meditation, when you don't know how to go to the gym, when you don't know how to do the exact action that you need to do to level up. You need to learn how to level up. That's when you learn. And when you take action is when you know what you need to be doing. That is the perfect time to do it. And a few actionable steps you can do after watching this video is, whenever you get an idea from a video, from a podcast, from a book, always, like literally just write it down on your phone, like as a note. Because if you don't write it down, your brain is just going to forget about that. You probably experienced this when you might be reading a book and you get, oh, I can use this thing in my life. I could do this one thing, for example, for psycho-cybernetics, it could be like, I could do this type of visualization in my life. But if you don't write it down, your mind is just going to forget about it. And if you try to obsess over it, trying to remember it, then you're just gonna be you're not gonna be focused on the book, and you're just gonna kind of be focused on your mind, trying to hold this thought. You kind of have like this Chrome tab in your head that just won't let you focus, won't let you be present. And something that I've realized is the main reason people don't want to do something is because it's too hard for them, or they feel like they can't do it. And there's something that I learned from Atomic Habits, and that is kind of lowering the bar to entry. Instead of focusing on you hitting this perfect workout, this perfect, insane, heavy workout, you focus on going to the gym and hitting a few sets at the gym. And you can use this in most things in your life, whether it's like meditation. If you usually meditate for 10 minutes, but for some reason you've been procrastinating on it, you haven't really done it in a while, then lowering the bar to entry and putting it at 2 minutes and then slowly building it up to 10 minutes is way more effective than just trying to force yourself to meditate for 10 minutes. And you can use this for almost everything in life, whether it's business. Instead of recording 5 videos, you record 1 video. Instead of sending 100 outreaches, you send 5. It's just kind of, you can use this in your everyday life and you make a lot more progress than the guy who's focusing on the super big task. Usually when you're procrastinating on something, it's usually because it's too hard, because you know you want to go to the gym, but you're just kind of sitting in your room and you don't really want to do it right now. But instead of focusing on you doing this big workout, you doing the PR, you doing the insane heavy weight, you focus on the actionable things you can do right now. You focus on getting your gym shoes on, then you focus on filling up your water bottle, then you focus on filling up your bag, then you focus on going to the gym, then you focus on warming up. And then when you're nice and warm, when the hype music is coming up, the beat is about to drop, then you'll be more likely to be able to hit the workout. Then you'll be more motivated to do the workout. Interestingly enough, whenever you begin a task, it's kind of like a snowball. You kind of have to push it up the mountain. You have to push it up, and whenever you're starting interestingly enough, whenever you're starting a task, it's kind of like you pushing a snowball up the mountain. Let's say this is a snowball, this is the mountain. You kind of have to, the discipline you have to do, you have to go to the gym, you have to actually open up the outreaches, you have to think of what to do for your business, you have to go to the gym, you have to do the meditation. But then when you're actually in the flow of it, it's kind of like just snowball down. For example, when you go to the gym, it's kind of tough. You need to first get up of your chair, you need to put on your shoes, you need to fill up your water bottle, you need to then go to the gym, warm up. But then when you're actually warmed and everything, it's just kind of like a flow from there. You feel like doing the workout now that you're warm, there's music in your ears, and it's just kind of like the snowball just going down the hill. So that's kind of like a benefit of lowering the bar to success. When you start something, you'll be more likely to continue it. It's kind of like the law of motion. I don't know which law it was. So something like when an object goes in motion, it stays in motion. And one last thing that I want to share with you is don't overthink it. Because the more you overthink, like this, remember at the beginning of this video, the guy who overthinks everything and tries to get the perfect workout, he never makes any progress. So just do something that will level you up in some sort of way. The more you learn, the more you make mistakes, then the path will become clear. As you make the mistakes, you fix your mistakes, and you learn along the way. and I really hope you benefited from this video. And just, if you want to learn more from me, I'm gonna work on a productivity course soon, and I'll be the first link in the description, the community. Join right now, and I really hope I see you in there.